Now, as for women, body count matters. When a man is talking about possibly settling down with you, making you a permanent part of his life, your body count does matter. Because that man is inviting all of those energies into his life. Now, he may not know the truth about your body count, but there are some ways a man can tell if your body count is pretty high. There's certain things about you. There's certain energies about you. There's certain sexual things about you that a man can use to gauge whether your body count is high. Brothers, there are secrets to this right here. And if you know women the way you should know women, and you know the difference between a woman who's been laying down with a lot of men and a woman who hasn't, then you will know if a woman has a high body count. You may not know the exact number, but you don't care about the exact number. We don't care about the number in the body count. We care about low, medium, high, very high, and Jezebel. Those are the levels. Low, medium, high, very high, and Jezebel. Those are the ones. Those are the only ones. The exact number don't count. Tell if a woman has a high body count. There are certain things about her. Man, there are certain things like the aroma of her body. A woman who has a high body count, man, she has an aroma on her body that's going to be there. I'm not saying it's this skunk smell or any funky smell or anything, but there's an aroma. That's why women who have high body counts have to douche and do things like that, man. They have to use all type of chemicals, and they be putting all type of thing in their bath water to make themselves smell good, when a woman should naturally be able to smell good because the vagina is a self-cleaning orifice. But guess what? It can't clean out all the energy of all those men that she's laid down with. You have to keep in mind, man, that when proof of your body count is present every day, that's why certain men are not going to be with the woman who has a child. It's not that children are bad. It's that a child is proof of your body count. That has a lot to do with it. It has nothing to do with the child. It has something to do with the child represents a permanent soul tie that you have to another man or other men. Children aren't bad. Children are wonderful things. Children are wonderful gifts, man. They're amazing, man. They're amazing to train them up and see how much they retain, and then watch them go off into the world and make their way with all the information you gave them and all the things you taught them. That's a wonderful experience. But when we talk about me and you being together in a relationship and you got a child by another man, that child represents that man's seed. That child is not a child. That is that man's seed that he left in you combined with your egg. And the more of those you have, then the more soul ties you have to other men forever. Those are forever soul ties, man. They only leave when you leave. I'm talking about for good. 6 feet. That's why many men, many high quality men, many high caliber men are not going to go for that. It represents something more than just, ooh, she got a child. No. That's not the problem. The problem is what you having a child represents. And a lot of that has a lot to do with the fact that women had better make sure that you understand how important maintaining a certain level of cleanliness in your body is. You have to avoid this urge that's going on now. And I feel sorry for you young dudes, man, because y'all, the women that are in y'all peer group, they are raised to believe that it's okay to be with as many men as they want to. Like, they are raised to believe that that's okay. There's no godliness in any of them. They're raised to believe that as many men as you want, okay, a man shouldn't hold that against you. And you know what you guys' problem is, you young guys? Your problem is that you are okay with that. Man, well, you know, yeah, man, she been with a lot of men, but man, I've been with a lot of women too. There you go with that 50-50 talk. Yeah, man, she ain't got no babies, man, but she had about 2 or 3 abortions, man. But you know what, man? I pay for abortion too, man. So, are you trying to be with her or yourself? Who trying to be with you or her? You can never just take over another man's legacy and create that. You simply can't. And people always bring up the thing about Shaq. Well, Shaquille O'Neal had his stepdaddy there, and he thank him all the time, and that's the reason he played ball and all that. Let me tell you something. You don't know what the hell you talking about. Shaq's stepdaddy was a high-ranking military, was a high-ranking member of the military. That cat was always gone. He was active duty military. Shaq didn't play basketball till 10th grade. A coach saw him walking and said, "Hey, big tall fella, you play basketball?" Shaq said, "No, sir, I never played basketball a day in my life. I never played before." He said, "Well, come on to the gym. You're going to play 9. But I don't know what to do, sir. I'm going to teach you what to do. You tall. Oh, you just put the ball, you stand by the basket and put the ball in the hole." And that's how Shaq became a basketball player. Had nothing to do with his stepdad taking him down there to the... Actually, when Shaq talked about his stepdad, man, he talked about how strict his damn life was when he was a kid. Said the boy ran the house like a drill sergeant. Now, as an adult, it's easy to appreciate the things that you had to do as an adult, because as an adult, especially a successful adult, now let's say if Shaq had been a failure at life, he would have blamed it on the fact that his stepdad was so strict. But because a coach saw him and made that turn in his life, man, gave him that transition, he became successful. So it's easy to look back on those things and say, they made me who I am. But if he hadn't become that, I guarantee you, man, that would have been something that he would have held against his stepdad forever. So when we talking about real things, man, that's why I hate to try to compare things to celebrities, man, because when you attain a certain level of success and notoriety, man, where it's a different thing, you can overlook all of your issues until you're out of the spotlight, and then all of your issues come back up. That's why a lot of celebrities get in trouble once they're out of the spotlight, because their issues come back up. They don't have the glare of Hollywood. They don't have the allure of being the end thing to fall back on. Now they got to deal with the truth of their lives. Now they're just an average Joe. So when proof of your body count is an everyday presence, certain men are going to avoid you. That's just the bottom line. You got children, certain men are going to avoid that. Certain men don't want that. It's just the way it is. That's why I tell men all the time, man, if you got a child with a woman, man, and then y'all end up not together, man, then somebody come along and marry her or something, man, that nigga ain't no threat. He's not alpha, because the alpha ain't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? What you worrying about that for? Now, you got to understand, man, that if a woman moves on to a lesser man, so what? Any woman who will accept a lesser man, you shouldn't have been with in the first place. Now, another thing is this, man. When I know men you've been with intimately, you're not an option for me. When I personally know men you've been with intimately, you're not an option for me. Period. I will not have a woman and then I roll up somewhere and there's this dude that I know who used to knock her down. And they speak, and me and him speak because I know him. It ain't gonna happen, bro. Let me tell you something. Every woman who's not a virgin is somebody's sloppy seconds. But if you don't know the dude, that's a totally different game than you personally know somebody she's been with, man. Come on, bro. It ain't gonna happen, man. It ain't gonna happen. That's for real. That's flawed, man. That shows desperation on your part. You gonna deal with that, man? And I know somebody gonna come in here and say, "Well, Dr. BOA, the thing about that is you can't worry about her past. You're gonna let what she did with somebody else determine what you do with her." Well, of course I am. Hell yeah. I most certainly am. You know what I'm saying? I just don't play that game, and you shouldn't either. Alpha men, see, the thing about us, man, we have options. We have options. Why do we have options? Because we make sure we have options. We don't accept less. Your options are only limited to what you're willing to accept. That's it. Your options are limited to what you're willing to accept. If you're not willing to accept A, B, C, then guess what? A, B, and C are not an option for you. You don't even start thinking until you get to D. If you're willing to accept the entire alphabet, then you don't have a choice. Anything is an option for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the major things that I think we as men have to understand, man. We have to keep in mind that everything, but even a woman has to understand, man, that if she gives herself, this is the thing. If I meet a woman and let's say she, for whatever reason, man, you know, she just somewhere or whatever, man, and she say, "Man, my ex is blah, blah, blah. And he wiped out my bank account when he left and all that, man." I'd be like, damn, she mess with a broke feminine beta male. At that point, I'm looking at her differently. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at her differently. See, a woman has to protect herself as well. She wants to continually get better quality men. And she can't do that if she's allowing a broke beta male to jump up and down on her. You know what I'm saying? If a woman telling me, man, that she let some dude jump up and down on her, man, and he ain't never do nothing, never pay for nothing, she pay for everything, I'm looking at her differently. At that point right there, I realized, man, she can't be on my team, man. She ain't the one for me. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't value herself enough. See, me, if a woman's going to be with me in any meaningful way, she has to value herself enough to be able to be in that position. Because I value myself too much to have a lowly woman around me who doesn't value herself. She gonna constantly be in her feelings. She gonna constantly, her insecurities are gonna constantly show. It's just gonna be one day she gonna be okay, the next day she not. Man, I ain't got time for that. She can go ahead and deal with somebody else.